Are you ready to go to the next level? Oh, wait, what? What? What the? Year after year, anime keeps getting more and more popular, and now that the standard of anime for normies have that kind of baseline of expecting a really good looking anime, just talking about animation, because they don't understand any other thing beside that. Shows like Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, or newer shorter ones like Soul Leveling, Dandadan, Demon Slayer, all sorts of that have that baseline of good looking episodes or fights that can turn their monkey brain on. Although we're not living in a perfect world, especially if you're talking about the anime industry, there's always some shows that is very popular or have the chance of becoming really popular or even mainstream at that, gets the worst adaptation ever. I'm talking PNGs, fade lines, shitty VFX, taking a facial, and etc. And this is what this video is about. This video is not about bad adaptations, it's mostly about fans, or more accurately, normie fans' perspective on criticisms about animation. There's always tweets or comments saying, oh, at least this looks better than TBATE or Blue Lock U20. And I know most of them are joking, but some people actually think like that. Why would you lower the bar so low to the point that even a 4 out of 10 cut will amaze you? I mean, I do that sometimes, but that's just because the bar is so fucking low. Even before the show airs, don't have that mindset. It's good for, let's say, One Punch Man Season 3 to have a reasonable expectation, or even lowering your expectation, because the scheduling from leakers and also putting out 2 pre-animated trailers is pretty horrendous. But most of the time you should have a reasonable expectation. What I mean by it is the show itself, either it can be expectations from the source material or from episode 1. A show that started off giving you the blueprint or philosophy of some of the best hand-to-hand combat, but at the end of the show they remove all that expectation with wonky ass 3D mecha fights, or absolute flawless rotoscoping in the first episode, then just blatant 3D model tracing that makes the expression pretty robotic, aliasing, and people doing the Michael Jackson hee 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 like Django from One Piece. Shinji RTA for One Piece reactions. Holy shit, W promotion. Of course, most of the time, episode 1 are really good to focus your time and resources at, to leave off a good first impression, but if you can't follow through that, then GG. I didn't watch Super Q, but the majority of people who watched it was pretty disappointed about the animation because only like 2 or 3 episodes were really good looking, but the others was very wonky fights. Even the final fight, I think. That's just retarded. To the power of 2. Same goes for adaptations. A high profile manga, of course popular IPs doesn't always guarantee a good looking anime, but if a show can't capture the essence and vibe of what the manga or manhwa did, then that's something you can criticize as a reader. This can also be with staff or studios. Of course most people are not well versed in the production side of things, unlike me since I'm such a prodigy of analyzing sheets of paper. Bow down. Sarudomo. Recognizable studios and directors usually have more interests and expectations to be had before even the anime is released. In the Sakura community side of things, maybe. Like, take this season, you are expecting Shinji Family to look visually really fucking good, because Dorokobo has a really good in-house system, that's why they're consistent. Same goes with G-Quux from Studio Kara and Sunrise, or maybe Shaft, well known for harboring some of the most technically impressive directors. Even when they leave the studio to freelance, you can feel that quirky Shaft direction, or just overall very competent direction, like Tomoyuki Itamura, director for Call of the Night, had been the main director for some Monogatari seasons. Shinichi Imata, director for Kaguya, was involved in Shaft shows in his earlier days. And of course Yuki Yase, director for Fire Force Season 1, has directed a couple of shows in Shaft. You can hella see it more with Season 3, having very mediocre direction compared to Season 1. And how Tamaki's still getting her ass used. For directors this season, you have Ryuta Aike's Mono, or even next season with Takaomi Kanasaki's Silent Witch, or Ryuhei Takashita's Summer Hikaru. I talked about shows having their own standards, but I'm not just talking about for bad shows, I'm also talking about good looking shows. Most people don't like when someone is criticizing on the surface level a really good looking show. When it was still the Solo Leveling Season 2 era, there was a lot of comments about why I'm complaining when it comes to just nitpicking stuff, or maybe there's something more. Comments like, weakest. It's a setup episode. It can't be all action all the time. It's a builder It's a build-up. It's a oh, it's a build-up episode. Nothing was needed. Why put a lot of budget? Budget in a build episode. Kind of disappointing that he knocked the hard work the animators are doing. And this has to be rage bait, right? You have autism. This is the problem with normies, I guess, because they think action is the only thing that can be praised about, which is stupid. People think that I'm nitpicking bad drawings, weird perspective shots, or bad art direction. It's just so that, I don't know, I can trash talk about something. No, I know how predatory the anime industry is. Most people know how trash they treat the people that actually make the product. These inconsistencies are here because of tight deadlines, not being able to fully polish it. Some people do multiple checks on drawings and cuts, but sometimes they don't have time to do that. And most people that watch the episode back and see these inconsistencies, they do see it, but they can't really do anything about it because of the deadlines. People don't appreciate how visually consistent Apothecary Diary is in every aspect. It's nothing crazy, but it doesn't feel janky in any way. Or Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer doesn't have any bad looking drawings. It's always on model because they have a good schedule for their shows. They probably finished 2 out of the 3 Infinite Castle movies, but of course the trailers, it's just reused content. Thank you, Aniplex. And maybe UFO Table. Yay! Yes, Yami Healer looks better than TBATE, but if you see Yami Healer yourself, it's a show that's very, very, very all over the place. So much janky movement, compositing errors, the pacing sometimes feels weird, and even voices doesn't match the scenes. This is the director's first anime project, so it's obvious how inexperienced it can look or feel. Yes, there's standout cuts because of Route 100 doing all of it probably, but the show is inconsistent as fuck. Even the OP where Xenos was running, it was weird. I mean, I still enjoy the fuck out of the show, but you get my point. Inconsistencies doesn't happen because the staff don't care. It is a passion-driven industry, so even if you look at TBATE or Blue Lock Season 2's first half, and you see... Okay, what the fuck? There's people that are passionate about it, and the worst part is probably they are submitting works that they are probably not satisfied about. I've repeated this over and over again. It's not budget, it's talent, the most important thing. You can also fault the higher-ups, like why does JC staff pick up so much projects? Why Mappa is... Mappa? Why did ACAP pick up TBATE when their studio is mainly a 3D studio and they outsource all 8 episodes animation to different studios? I don't fucking know. It's not about staff not caring about a project, it's about how good they are, meaning talent. If you are passionate about something but you lack the skill, then yeah, it will not look good. Some studios just dive into producing a 12 episode project when they don't have the resources to do it, or connections. Like Vincent Chanzard swore to not work at a Mappa show ever, but when Hockey Go was present to direct some portions of JJK Season 2 Episode 17, he joined him because he respects him, and Go is also a god. Or it can be another case like Vincent got offered to work on Demon Slayer, but he declined it because the director for Demon Slayer, Haruo Sotozaki, is not really a good director when it comes to action. He sometimes just make manga panels move. Cool. And yeah. But if Toshiyuki Shirai is directing an episode, he would participate since Shirai, he's the one that does the more competent action episodes like episode 19, season 2 episode 10, and season 3 episode 8, I guess. Here's another good example of connections. Slam 300. Can we have a moment of silence for season 2? Thank you. Slam 300 Season 1 was produced by Studio Reveroot. While it looks pretty basic, it still looks visually pleasing in a way. This is not just because of the director, but the animation power comes mostly from the monster designer, Keisuke Kojima, and his connections. He key animated and animation directed episode 4 and 10. Episode 4 because dragons, he's the monster designer. He also brought one of the Fate Strange Fake director to animate some stuff. And episode 10, he basically did all the performance by the bunny girl, I forgot her name. But another interesting part, Kojima has participated quite a bit in Madhouse, more accurately in the Fukushi line, like One Punch Man Season 1 and Aqua 13. In Slime 300, episode 6 was outsourced to Madhouse, and a person who's gonna direct Boshi and Freeridden in the future basically animated 1/3 of the episode. After that, another Fukushi Madhouse project appeared, being Sunny Boy. In 2021, episode 9 was outsourced to Reveru while storyboarded by Kojima himself. Then 2 years later, Saito and Kojima reunited in a small little show called Freerin, leading episode 7 with his team as one of the storyboarder and episode director, since Crucell was credited as production assistant. Crucell is basically Reveru, since Reveru had a split in 2022 when they moved offices from Nishi-Tokyo to Suginami, and Enami Kazuki is the CEO for both studios, so that's a more evident thing to look at. This video was just me yapping because comments and tweets I keep seeing, or people having that mindset. So yeah, I'm doing a chibi, guys. If you guys like this video, leave a like. If you hate it, leave a like. Comment down below what are your thoughts about... I don't know. I actually don't know. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time.